Last year we had the Bhakti Vaibhav come today, one, Canto 1. Actually, this all is a part of Bhakti Vaibhav only, and it is so fortunate that Prabhu was accepted this time. It was easy. Prabhu is Hari Leela Prabhu. He was ex-Gulf. He was working with in Gulf only, in Dubai. So, for the recent 3 years, he shifted his working place to Mayapur.
Hari Hari Bol.
And Prabhu's son is also studying in Gurukul, in Mayapur only. That is not international school, but in Gurukul. That I don't know much details, but they say he's in level 3 or level 8. So, I'll introduce, better devotees can introduce with their names. That I thought I would like to. So, he very mercifully accepted to, if it is possible, to continue for another 1 week also. That also will explain very detailedly. Okay. So I will.
Okay. Hi, Krishna. Very welcome to this course on Bhagavatam. Prabhu gave me a brief introduction. Everybody can see the screen.
Yes,
you can see the screen. Okay. So, Prabhu introduced. My name is Hari Leela. I live in Mayapur. Before I lived in Dubai. One of my services in Mayapur is to teach for Mayapur. So this session will mostly deal with Canto 2, chapters 1 to 5. This is Unit 6 of Bhakti Vaibhav 2. This on these chapters. So before we get into some serious discussion, I would request devotees to introduce. So what I would suggest as introduction, that you I'm sure that you all know each other. You can ask your neighbor. So you introduce your neighbor, you introduce his name, tell briefly about his service, what he is doing. That's it. Last. Don't worry, we'll make sure that everyone is.
The cycle is complete.
We'll make sure the cycle is complete. And if we have odd number, we'll ask someone. Start from you, Prabhu.
Hello.
Hi.
You can introduce it.
This is Govindas. I am the most senior devotee in our and inspires us a lot. He is reading the Hindi Bhagavatam and all.
That.
Puja Mataji, one of the youngest devotees in our congregation, and she has in fact studied here, and she has been brought up by great devotee parents. So she is fortunate to born in devotee family, and she herself is a very good dancer and teacher, and she studies very well.
Right. So we have dancer, teacher, second generation devotee, everything in one. Okay.
She also has been brought up in this movement. Their Krishna conscious family. She's an architect by profession. She started. She's very enthusiastic. She started in school for teaching kids from outside about Krishna consciousness and so forth.
Right. We have the company of a teacher.
Okay, this is Nandini Radha Devi Rati. She's one of the best folks. Taking multiple devotees. She's been around for like 5-7 years we joined actually, but then we did something. Yeah, so that's making monkeys around for services in the temple and cooking and serving sannyasis and similar.
Yeah, I'm going to miss your cooking.
So I was invited as not here. Because it takes a lot of us to invite many devotees.
Right. Thank you. Thank you for inspiring me.
And he is involved in many services, but also personally he does service and shows other devotees. And Mataji is his wife. He's very knowledge of every son and meditation. He's very good with it. And he is starting new activities.
Unlimited devotion, sir.
We started reading about her very fast and doing a lot of wonderful services. We name it can be part of any of the services.
The jack of all trades and master of all trades.
It was Yogendra Krishnadas from Sri Lanka. Has so many services, but no one can notice. There's everything behind us. He introduces so many devotees.
So this is like a Vaishnava. The Vaishnava is supposed to be like salt. He's never seen, but he adds taste to it. He is supposed to be. He just came, so he can ask you.
He's the one, in fact, who is violating the others. And who is one of the main services I would like to highlight is the 5 days Java session for the devotees. We are supposed to sit together for 1 hour, like all us to chant. So Prabhu is always encouraging and bringing everyone together. And also a lot of other devas coordinating a lot of programs and arranging and taking care of devotees. So highlight among the list of services.
So we'll draw upon Prabhu's experience on teaching how to chant.
Especially get the help. I don't think I can explain his services in 2 minutes, but he's coordinated. He brings the Shastri notes from my Balaramdesh. You name any service, he's doing everything that happens for the community preaching, for the classes, and he's the pillar of the whole.
Prema Jagannath Prabhu is personification of Jagannath Prema. The name goes on. He engages all the devotees in Jagannath service. You name it as Rath Yatra or you name it as any activity in the Puri and the Chappan Bhog, especially on the temple. So that personification is in front of us. Nice and humble devotee. By profession, he is a software expert.
So Everybody got it confused? That. Okay. We'll go through the invocations. We'll invoke auspiciousness with chanting prayers. They are familiar shlokas. We can chant together. Narayam namaskrityam chaiva narottamam devim saraswatim vyasam tato jayamudiyate nashtaprayeshu avadeshu nityam bhagavata sevaya bhagavati uttama shloke bhakti bhavati naishiki. Om namo bhagavate vasudevaya. Om namo bhagavate vasudevaya. Om namo bhagavate vasudevaya. There's a nice prayer to Srimad Bhagavatam. It's written by Sanatana Goswami. It's in Krishna Lila Stava. I don't know if you're familiar with these prayers. Okay. Okay. I will sing. You can follow. Sarvasastra Sarva Vedaika Satpala Sarvasastra Vipiyusha Sarva Vedaika Satpala Sarva Siddhantaratnanya Sarva Lokaika Triprada Sarva Siddhantaratnanya Sarva Lokaika Triprada Sarva Bhagavata Prana Srimad Bhagavata Prabhu Sarva Bhagavata Prana Srimad Bhagavata Prabhu Kalivanto Diraditya Shri Krishna Parivartita Kalivanto Diraditya Shri Krishna Parivartita Paramananda Bhataya Prema Varshaksharayate Sarvada Paramananda Bhataya Prema Varshaksharayate Sarvada Sarva Sevyaya Sri Krishnaya Namostume Sarvada Sarva Sevyaya Sri Krishnaya Namostume Madeka Bandho Matsangin Madguru Manmahadana Madeka Bandho Matsangin Madguru Manmahadana Mannistaraka Madbhagya Madananda Namostute Mannistaraka Madbhagya Madananda Namostute Sadhu Sadhu Tadayin Adini Chochatakara Sadhu Sadhu Tadayin Adini Chochatakara Anamuncha Kadachinmam Premna Dhritantayustura Anamuncha Kadachinmam Premna Dhritantayustura. So we read the translations.
O Srimad Bhagavatam, O nectar, churned from the ocean of all Vedic scriptures, O most prominent transcendental fruit of all Vedas, O you who are enriched with the jewels of all spiritual philosophical conclusions, O you who grant spiritual vision to all the people of the world,
O life breath of the Vaishnava devotee, O Lord, you are the sun which has arisen to dispel the darkness of the Kali Yuga. You are actually Krishna, who has returned among us.
O Srimad Bhagavatam, I offer respectful obeisances to you by reading you one attains transcendental bliss. For your syllables, rain, you love not on the sea. You are always to be served by Yuga. O Yuga is incarnation of Krishna.
O Srimad Bhagavatam, O my only friend, O my companion, O my teacher, O my great friend, O my deliverer, O my good fortune, O my bliss, I offer my respectful obeisances to you. O
Srimad Bhagavatam, O giver of saintliness to the unsaintly, O uplifter of the very fallen, please do not ever leave me. Please become manifested upon my heart and my throat, accompanied by pure love.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So we have one new member. So somebody can do the honor of introducing.
Prabhu is Sanatana Gokula Prabhu. He is Panjali Ragamata's caretaker. There is only one person. And he's actually, he was in the Telugu Bhagavata Saptaha committee he was going on. So he excused us for 15 minutes, so that we were late. So from there, saying he's coming. In the temple services wise, he's also like our very humble. I mean, outside doesn't look like he's working, but he does a lot of service. Especially he's working these days for Prabhupada archive here, and also he's supporting temple in a lot of communications all over the world.
Okay, some very encouraging words from Srila Prabhupada. Why we should take another
Sajatiya means people thinking in the same way. So that means devotees who are interested in Bhagavad Bhakti, understand Bhagwan, they should read Srimad Bhagavatam in the association. We should have regular classes, just like school and college, 8 hours, 6 hours. We engage always in reading Srimad Bhagavatam, discussing amongst yourselves. Then do these things.
Okay, so before we get into the overview of first 5 chapters of this canto, what is the one thing which struck you from the first canto? What is that one aspect of first canto which just remains in your heart? One aspect. Let's just share one aspect. Let's start with the message.
I personally like going to these where the mood and how to
Yeah, okay, good, nice.
Okay, what's striking me right now is that I like this Bhakti.
Yeah, the basis of another very important conversation.
Many things said, Naradamuni's realization is how it was before and how he got the realization, how he can see.
Yes, Narada's own story.
The thing which I most struck me in Canto 1 is chapter 5, the Narada Muni's instructions to Vyasadeva. In fact, his chastisement of Vyasadeva for not having compiled Srimad Bhagavatam earlier. And then Prabhupada's purport is that he said that any person who is born in India, this is prime duty to first understand himself, realize himself the meaning of Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, and then to take to the world. If you don't do this, we'll fail you.
Yeah, very important.
Vyasadeva surrenders is like when Narada Muni comes and he say that, okay, I understand what I have lacking, but still I won't give from it.
Understanding the temporary nature of living here and going back to God, and so he reacted that he
Yeah, you're going to expand on it. Very important topic. Yeah.
And like passing with Vishnudeva, he says 3 times. One is surrendering to God, the second one is surrendering to
Sadhu Guru.
Achyuta, Vipra, and Ram. Dharma, Achyuta, Vipra.
how Krishna was adored by us. And it really wonderful to know how it is that. I was surprised how Bhagavatam could maybe handshakes of people like that. And that's another.
Taking the cloud.
After who were works in repeatedly we know the heart is transformed.
Yeah.
How the person was see how the audience was so contribution of audience, how the person is coming down.
Right. Yeah. Very important chapter. The core of Sri Bhagavatam, chapter 2.
The position of Srimad Bhagavatam in the beginning is explained in the shloka. That it is the Shastra, it is the Kalipam. It is the shloka.
I like how the administrative people, how they take Krishna consciousness in that, how the world can be peaceful. And another part of how we have to take care of the cows also, which is the essence of pleasing Krishna. And in return, we get same peace when we have this cows.
That was a very important topic. Okay, so generally it is understood that Bhagavatam is a postgraduate study and Bhagavad Gita is a different study. So, just let's try to understand the sequence of how they are placed in order to appreciate the topics better. That when in the second chapter of Bhagavad Gita, there is one shloka in which Arjuna surrendered to Krishna. Very famous shloka. What is the shloka? Vahav Pachami Tam Tam Samuda Cheta Yashreyaham Nishitam Ruhidan Me Shishyaseyaham. What does that mean?
I surrender.
Let's start from the beginning. I'm
Now,
confused.
now I'm confused about my duty, and I've lost all composure with the massive weakness. In
Yes.
this condition, I ask you that I may serve you best for me. Now I am your so surrendered unto you, please inspire.
Yeah. Okay. So we have a scholar sitting. Very nice. Okay, so after that shloka, when Arjuna surrendered to Krishna, one shloka, give one shloka, and the next shloka, one, give one shloka, and the next shloka after that. Does anybody know what Arjuna said?
I think he said that I don't slogan. How can I kill Vishpitama?
Oh, that's all previous. So after surrendering to Krishna, he said that I'm confused. I don't know what to do. I don't know what is good for me. I don't know what is bad for me. I am a soul surrendered unto you, and I am your student. And now you tell me for certain what is good for me. After saying this, what did Arjuna tell Krishna?
Please instruct me.
Yeah, he said, please instruct me. And after saying this, what did he say to Krishna? After saying that, after surrendering to Krishna, Arjuna said, Krishna, I will not fight. Na yotsva iti Govinda. You can see the shloka. He said, Govinda, I will not fight. This is the first step of surrender. That you accept authority. You have faith that this is the authority, I should surrender to this authority. But you don't have faith enough to do what that authority tells you to do. So this is the first step of surrender of a materialistic person. A person who is confused with his materialistic mind, and when he sees a spiritual authority, first he surrenders. Okay? But after he surrenders, he's still not ready to do what his authority says.
That's fair enough.
That's fair enough. There's nothing wrong. That's good. We went through all that process. We surrendered to the process of Krishna consciousness, but it took time for us to follow four regulative principles. It took time for us to take initiation. It took time for us to accept a spiritual master. This is very normal. This is the first step of surrender. So Bhagavad Gita starts with the first step of surrender, where there is surrender, but there are also doubts. Surrender with doubts. This is the first step of surrender. There's nothing wrong with that. Okay. Let's fast forward to 18th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. Okay. So, what did Krishna tell to Arjuna in the 18th chapter as his final instruction? Sarvadharman Vaidya Mam Aham Tvam Sarvabhadeyo Vaidashami. So there was surrender but doubts. Okay. Then from there was assurance. Okay. And this assurance was explicit. Yeah. Krishna gave explicit assurance. He said that he didn't just simply stop Sarvadharman Parityajya Mamekam Sharanam Praja. And then he didn't say that, okay, that's what happens next is none of your business. He said that Aham Tvam Sarva Papyebhyo Mokshayashyami Masasaha. That don't worry, if you surrender to me, I'll take care of you. Okay. So there was surrender. So because the surrender was with doubts, then after clearing the doubts, there was explicit assurance from authority. Okay. Then there was surrender. Again, Arjuna surrendered. And what did he say this time?
Karishe Vachanam Tava.
Which means that
Whatever you
I
say.
will follow your instruction. Okay. So there was surrender with doubts, then there was explicit assurance, and then there was surrender with following. Okay. Now let's graduate to Bhagavatam. So what happened in the first canto of Srimad Bhagavatam to our Parikshit Maharaj? He was cursed. Okay. He was cursed. And what is the curse?
He died in 7 days.
That will die in 7 days. How will he die in 7 days? In a war, killed by his enemy with a weapon on his chest.
Rakshaka.
And snake bite. Okay. So is this nice? Is nice way to die?
Materially no. Materially no.
Materially no. Yeah. Even otherwise also it is not a nice way to die. Because sometimes we don't consider the gravity of the situation. You consider the gravity of the situation. We are talking about who? We are talking about a person who is actually the grandson of Arjuna. And we are talking about a person who is a Mahabhagavata. Okay? So when a person is Mahabhagavata, when a person in such a stage, okay? So for such a person to die because of a curse is horrible. It's horrible. Because they don't just die because of a curse. It's unimaginable in those times. We don't think about it. We don't process this so much. We think, okay, he was cursed. So what we did. But no. Who gets cursed? Sinful people get cursed. People who are demoniac, they get cursed. Devotees don't get cursed so easily. And not to be cursed to die like this. So, in one sense, what Parikshit went through in the last stages of his life was unimaginably so horrible. Okay. So, but when he actually heard this curse, what was his reaction? Yeah, how did he accept it?
That was mercy of the Lord.
Yeah, he accepted the mercy of the Lord, but he said something.
He asked question.
What's the best way to die?
That's after. That's after deciding to die. Okay, but before that, when he accepted the curse, how did he accept it?
He said that must have done something, so it is better for me to suffer so that my progenitors will not.
Yeah, that is before he heard the curse, he was thinking like this. Before he heard the curse, he was thinking like this. That I did something wrong, and because I did something wrong, because I am the king, because I did something wrong, then all my citizens have to suffer. Because I am the king, I am responsible for them. Well, so it's better that something comes to me and my citizens don't suffer. So that he was thinking before he heard the curse. After he heard the curse, he made a classic statement. The most classicest statements of all times. He made one statement. He said that this is a special arrangement by Krishna for me so that I can get rid of all my kingly duties and then go and simply sit and listen to Srimad Bhagavatam. I am so materialistic that Krishna knows that unless such a thing happens to me, I am not going to go and sit and listen. So this is a classic response of a pure devotee. That when something which is unimaginably bad happens, then how the devotee reacts. Okay. So you can see that Parikshit's surrender, okay, actually had all these components. There was no doubt in Parikshit's surrender. Krishna was not there to tell him that Sarva Dharman Paritejaya, Mam Ekam Saranam Vraja, Aham Tvam Sarva Papebhyo, Mokshesyami, Masuchaha. He was not there to tell him that. There was no assurance. There was absolutely no assurance. And when he wanted to go, leaving everything, okay, then he was being questioned. In the 4th chapter of 1st canto, the Saunaka rishis, they criticized Parikshit Maharaj. They asked Sutta Goswami, how can this person do like this? How can he be so selfish? The whole kingdom was dependent on him. How can he just walk off? He was the shelter of all the people, protecting them against Kali. How could he just neglect all his duties and just walk off? Just because he got cursed? What kind of selfish mentality is this? So he got criticized. And he didn't even have a good death. It was not glorious. It was not in the war field. Like Krishna tells Arjuna that be killed in the war field and then you will go to Swarga. It's glorious. He said that it's glorious to those Kshatriyas for whom the opportunity to fight in the war come unasked for. It is fine. And that's a glorious way of dying. But for him, he was just cursed. And that too, cursed from whom? Not from some great personality. Not some big personality, not some very powerful sage or some great devotee. That's the small boy, immature boy, who doesn't even know what he was doing. To be cursed by him and then to die. And then have the guts to leave everything and walk off. Especially when he knows that he can counteract the curse, he can stop the curse, he need not die. He will get criticized for doing what he's going to do. But still, to understand, to have implicit faith in what Krishna wants, that surrender is manifested in the beginning of Srimad Bhagavatam. So there's no question of someone going and telling him Sarvadharman Pariteksha. He simply did that on his own. Just he gave up everything. He said, "No, Bhagavatam. That's nothing more. My life means Bhagavatam." Okay. So then, what was left in Bhagavatam? What was the question which was left in the process of surrender? So from surrender with following, it became implicit surrender. Okay. So what was left? What was the question which was left?
What is to be done in the intervening period?
Yes. The question which was left on the platform of implicit surrender, the question which was left was, what is the best process? Okay. So what is the conclusion of what is the best process? Nama Sankirtanam Yasya Sarva Papa Pranashanam Pranamo Dukha Samanas Tam Namami Harim Param. So this is the conclusion of Srimad Bhagavatam, that the process is chanting the holy name. So this is where Bhagavatam ends. Bhagavatam starts with the process of implicit surrender. Bhagavatam actually explains completely the science of implicit surrender. Bhagavatam is just a manual for implicit surrender. All the different aspects of implicit surrender is discussed in Srimad Bhagavatam, all 10 cantos. Okay. And from there, the conclusion is drawn from the beginning. We will see in this canto, in the first chapter, you will say, Yoginam Drupadirnitam Harer Namanukirtanam. That it is completely foregone conclusion that chanting the holy name is the process by which one has to surrender. Okay. So from here, Chaitanya Charitamrita starts. And then Chaitanya Charitamrita explains the process of surrendering to the holy name by which one can get Krishna. The practical process of surrendering to the holy name by which one can get love of Godhead is explained in Chaitanya Charitamrita. That's why normally it is said that Bhagavad Gita is the preliminary study, Bhagavatam is the postgraduate study, and Chaitanya Charitamrita is the higher study. So this is how the sequence is there. The connection from Bhagavad Gita to Bhagavatam and Bhagavatam first canto. Now we are going to move into the second canto. So
You can just ask the question.
Yeah.
Probably like you said, the Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, and you're talking about like surrendering with doubts, and Bhagavatam is implicit surrender.
Yeah.
So when you're taking to the process of bhakti, so it's not necessary that we start from surrendering with doubts. It's just like that. It's not. I don't think if people could just be on a level of implicit surrender also from the beginning of practice in the life. So that's like, I mean, is my question like?
Yeah. See, it depends upon where you see it from. Okay. See, the process of devotional service is we are talking about the process of devotional service in the material world. Okay. The process of devotional service in the material world perfectly follows this sequence. Okay. But you may see a person at a point in this sequence. You understand? So when you see a person at a point in this sequence, he has already crossed certain stages. So for you, it looks like that he is starting with implicit faith. But that's the process. The process is without doubt, this is the process. The conditioned soul goes through this process. That he has faith, He surrenders, but with doubts. And then it's also explained in third canto of Srimad Bhagavatam.
But we could also say it's like the Sadhu-Sangha Bhajanti and all that.
Yeah,
It's the parallel to what
it's more or less parallel to. See, these are all parallels. These are all parallel. They're all like first you have to be faith, other Shraddha, you have to be faith. But the faith is sometimes formula, soft and pliable. Then it becomes firm, and then it starts and then it goes to the process. But the process is same. You may see someone somewhere in between, and then you may say that okay. But the whole idea of discussing this is that when we study Bhagavatam, we should always try to focus that we should move on. This is the whole idea of discussing this. Bhagavatam actually explains us or equips us with the tools to move on. That we are in a certain stage. We may be in any stage of what was explained. Doesn't matter. Okay. But when we study Bhagavatam, Bhagavatam gives the practical tools for us to just move on. Because there are people in Bhagavatam. Bhagavatam is about people. It's about devotees. And it's about devotees who actually face the same problems as we face. Even though it looks like it's something different. But from time immemorial, we are facing the same problem. The problems are not different. The questions are not different. The questions in Srimad Bhagavatam are the questions of life, which is being asked from whatever times known from human intelligence. The 6 questions of Srimad Bhagavatam are the 6 questions of life. There's nothing more to this. Even though there may be thousands and thousands of sub-questions which comes from those 6 questions. It's not that only devotees are asking these 6 questions. Scientists are asking the same 6 questions. Atheists are asking the same 6 questions. Devotees are asking the same 6 questions. Everybody asks the same question. But they all approach the question in different manner according to the level of understanding and consciousness. That's the difference. Make sense? So we'll go to the overview of the first. What we're going to do is that now we'll see the overview of the first 5 chapters, which is more or less what we're going to cover during this session, and then we'll see the overview of the first chapter, which is the specific chapter which we're going to see. Okay, we can just take turns in reading. You can start from here. You can just go like this, and then come back, and then come back, and then go like this. So you can just take turns in reading. Whenever there's something on the screen, just pick up from where you left. So that's another way to keep all of us awake. So we should remember who left. Okay.
Chapter 1. Sri Shukadev Goswami starts answering Maharaj Parikshit's question from Canto 1, Chapter 19. Maharaj Parikshit asks about object to meditation to remove dirty things from her. Sri Shukadev Goswami suggests meditation on Virat Purusha.
Chapter 2. Sri Shukadev Goswami condemns material civilization and glorifies renunciation. Sri Shukadev Goswami suggests Paramatma Dhyana as the primary goal of renunciation. Sri Shukadev Goswami explains the yogic process of leaving the body. In the end, Sri Shukadeva Goswami establishes devotional service as ultimate goal.
Bhakti Goswami contrasts devotional service with demigod worship. Shankara glorifies devotional service in engagement with Sutta Goswami.
Chapter 4, Sutta Goswami glorifies Maharaj Parikshit's pronunciation. Maharaj Parikshit questions Sri Shukadev Goswami on creation. Sri Shukadev Goswami offers prayers prior to the beginning of his narration. Sri Shukadev Goswami refers to answer by Brahman to a similar question by Narada.
Chapter 5, Narada questions Brahma about the source of creation. Brahma explains the evolution of elements. Brahma then starts the explanation about the miraculous Purusha.
So this is more or less the overview of the 5 chapters, and then from the 6th chapter onwards, again, the Virat Rupa is explained a little more with respect to Purusha Sutta, and then it goes on to explain the 10 topics of Srimad Bhagavatam. So that with that the second canto concludes. Okay, this is the particular overview of this chapter 1.
So on.
That's right. Sri Sukadeva Goswami glorifies Maharaj Parikshit. That's true. Sri Sukadeva Goswami explains in terms of material life, in effect, answers Maharaj Parikshit's question on what not to do. That's practical. Sri Sukadeva Goswami replies about what one should hear, chant, and remember. Glories of chanting, perfection of remembrance, glories of hearing Srimad Bhagavatam. Verse 12, the importance of elevating one's consciousness versus long life.
Verses 15 to 21. Instructions on activities in the last stage of one's life. This answers questions about way of perfection for one who is about to die. Verse 22 to 39. Maharaj Parikshit questions Sri Sukadeva Goswami on how to remove the dirty things in a person's mind. Sri Sukadeva Goswami answers Maharaj Parikshit question by explaining meditation on the mirror.
Okay, so this is more or less the overview of this chapter. It ends with the explanation of the Virat. Any questions up to now? Okay, so we are going to get into the chapter itself. So we will chant the first verse together. Sri Sukha Uvacha Variyadeshare Prashnaha Krito Lokaitam Nirva Atma Visamha Pumsam Srodhavyadi Shriya
said, my dear king, your question is glorious because it is very beneficial to all kinds of people. The answer to this question is the 5 subject matter for hearing, and it is approved by all translators.
What was the question? Let's take one at a time. Okay,
what is the perfection? What is the perfection for all persons, especially for one person?
Okay. Okay.
The other one is what should a man chant, hear, and remember, and worship, and also what he should do?
Okay. Same. Okay. So this is one set of questions which Parikshit Maharaj asked, but he asked before that one more set of questions. What were they? He asked 2 set of questions. See, when he came into the assembly, okay, first of all, he expressed his desire. What was his desire? What was his desire?
To fast, in fact.
What he should do?
What he should do? What a person should do?
No. He first expressed his desire. What was his desire? His desire was to listen to Krishna Katha. That time he was not sure that he is going to listen to Srimad Bhagavatam. He said, I want to listen to the pastimes of Krishna. This is my desire. I want to leave my body listening to pastimes of Krishna. He said, this is my desire. But then after expressing his desire to the assembly of sages, then he did something which a normal, intelligent person should do. What is that? He consulted. A normal, intelligent person should consult. Even though if we know everything, still we should consult. This is a very important aspect of devotional life. That it may be known that everything we may know that this is to be done, but still, when there are qualified people and when we are in an assembly of devotees, we should always consult. It's a very important quality of a devotee that a devotee consults. Okay. So, if you don't consult, then you get into this syndrome. You know this?
None at that time.
If you don't consult, you get into this syndrome. It's called as alone at the top. That you think that, or we start thinking that we are so great that we cannot consult with anyone else. And that's the last thing which can happen in devotional life to someone. Because in our ISKCON history, it is proved that whenever a person gets to this stage, what happens?
Falls down.
Falls down. We have history to prove this.
But when we say consult,
Yeah.
we mean that we take advice, or we mean that we discuss the point and we try to see if they're in agreement with our point. Or it's like, are we looking at ourselves? Because you have to identify who we are consulting. I think that's also important.
Yes, of course. We don't go and consult to some tips that what can I do or what I don't do. I said that in a proper assembly of devotees, okay, the assembly of qualified devotees, we should always consult. Even though we know that we are right, but we should consult.
But the devotee is always qualified. I mean, it's like
No, it's not like that. If you read Nectar of Instruction and Nectar of Devotion, okay, so devotees are qualified, but within the qualification of devotees are also graded as Kanishta, Madhyama, Uttama, and below Kanishta there is Prakrita, and below Prakrita there is Sahajya. So there are different types of devotees. So one should, a Madhyamadhikari is, the hallmark of a Madhyamadhikari is that he should be able to discriminate between the different types of devotees. This is the hallmark of a Madhyamadhikari. And then he should know whom to consult with. At what level, for what work, whom you should consult with. Sometimes we have to consult with our juniors. Sometimes we have to consult with our peers. Sometimes we have to consult with our seniors. But always, if we have seniors around, we can always consult. There's no, it's a very good practice that we always consult. Because after all, our movement is the movement of Sankirtan. Sankirtan means Samyak Kirtan. Everybody comes together and then does Kirtan. Now it's the Sankirtan movement. We have Sangha. So Sangha means consultation. Sangha means accommodating different opinions. In the process of consultation, sometimes we may want to verify what we are doing is correct or not. But sometimes we may also get alternate opinions. And it is not necessary that always one opinion is correct. There may be more than one answers to one question. So the process of consultation means to accommodate different answers to the same question. What's for you? So he consulted. So when he consulted, he asked two questions. So what are the questions? He asked the sages, the assembly of sages, he asked the questions. The questions he asked.
what we discussed right now about what is the duties of a person who's about to travel.
No, that is true.
That he asked Mr. So these are the questions which he asked. So who's supposed to read?
O trustworthy Brahmanas, I now ask you about my duty and duty. Please, after proper deliberation, tell me of the underlying duty of everyone in all circumstances, and specifically of those who are just about to die.
Okay, so this is the question he is questioning to the sages. He asked about the duty of a person, of everyone in general, and of a duty of a person who is just about to die. So, are there two questions here, or is it one question?
It's a question and a sub-question.
Yeah, it's a question and a sub-question. Why?
It's an immediate duty, and specifically about those about to die.
Yeah. How many of us are sure that we are not about to die?
Nobody.
Is anybody sure? No, I'm not about to die. Okay.
At least we think, we plan like that.
We plan
Like
Yeah, that's what actually Yudhishthira told Reksha. He said, Ahani Ahani Bhutani Gachanti Himalayam Sheshaka Stavra Vichanti Tima Ashtarya Matara. The most surprising thing to see in this world is that every day we see so many people going in front of us, becoming guest of Emerald, but those who are left back, they think that I'm not going to die. So what could be more surprising than this? This is what, yeah, anyway. So who's supposed to be? Yeah, please speak.
You are the spiritual master of great saints and therefore begging you to show the way of perfection to all persons, and especially for one who is about to die.
Continue.
Please let me know what a man should hear, chant, remember, and worship, and also what he should not do. Please explain all this to me.
Okay, so this is what these are the questions of Parishad Maharaj to initially to the Assembly of Sages and then to Sukadeva Goswami. It's explained to the Acharyas that when Parishad Maharaj asked this question to the Assembly of Sages, there was not one opinion. So many people gave many opinions. And Parishad Maharaj had his own opinion also, which he expressed in the beginning. He said that I want to sit in the bank of Ganges and listen to Krishna. Okay. But then the different sages had different opinions. So there was not a congruent suggestion which was coming from the Assembly of Sages. So then Sukadeva Goswami comes in, and when he comes in, then everyone accepts that, okay, whatever he says, we accept. So he asked the question to him. So this time his question was more specific. He said that what is the duty of the person who is about to die? What is the path of perfection? And what one should hear, chant, remember, and what one should not do. Yes. Yes.
As what we have understood is,
Yeah.
Sukadeva Goswami left the Sevas and then after hearing the story, he came back.
Yeah.
And then he got Bhagavatam from Vyasdeva.
Yeah.
Then it is explained that Sukadeva Goswami's exalted position has been realized by all the sages. How could all the sages who thought that he is the right person or he is the authority, how did they decide or how did it happen that they realized it? When did it happen?
So Sukadeva Goswami is a very famous personality. Okay? So even before he was born, he was very famous because he was not willing to come out. So when such things happen, then in previous times there was no email or WhatsApp or Facebook, but everyone had mental telepathical communication. So even when Parishad Maharaj was cursed, you can see all the sages came from everywhere. Okay? They all assembled. They all came to know, yeah, he's cursed. Okay, he's going to die. Oh, let's come and see how he's going to die. So there's some system of communication that existed. I don't know how it existed, but it seems to have existed. That people come to know that, yeah, this happening. And then they all assemble. And they had really quick methods of communication and also travel. Just come in. Prabhupada explained that some yogis, they can just jump into Ganges and then they can just come along the Ganges from Himalayas to the Ahmedabad. Zoom, they can come. So that's one part. The second part, specifically in Srimad Bhagavatam, it's explained that when Sukadeva Goswami entered the assembly, okay, then what happened? Everybody got up. Which means that he's expected
by his very appearance, I think. By his very appearance, he got
the. And there are a lot of signs, like before we had science called the Samudrika Lakshana. Many people think the Samudrika Lakshana means it's only for women. No, it's not like that. It explains that if a person has a certain bodily features, then what is the type of person? Even in Nectar of Devotion, it's explained about Krishna, all the different features of Krishna. what are different bodily features of Krishna, how it's so auspicious and things like that. So before people could see them. And in Bhagavatam specifically, it's explained that they all got it. So which means that they have great respect for it. And it is said by the Acharyas that when actually Sukadeva Goswami explained Srimad Bhagavatam, there were two people who actually knew Bhagavatam. And one of them was his spiritual master. The other one was his spiritual master's spiritual master. And both of them heard Bhagavatam from Sukadeva Goswami as if they never heard Bhagavatam. This is the skill of Sukadeva Goswami narrating Srimad Bhagavatam. Okay. So these are the questions, very important questions, very relevant questions. And also these questions include the 6 questions. These questions include the 6 questions. Okay. The 6 questions are simply expanded form of these questions which which Parishit Maharaj asked Sukadeva Goswami. Okay. That's the reason why Sukadeva Goswami said this. He said, Varyanesha Prashnaha Kritho Lokahitam Nirpa Atmavit Sambatak Pumsam Shrotavyadishu Yatparaha. Okay. So there are many significant aspects of this statement of Sukadeva Goswami. So we can try to see, or we can try to find some significant aspects. What we can just see, what we can find from there. It's a statement, but the statement has many significant aspects.
The prime subject.
Yes, it's prime subject matter. Okay. So prime subject matter addresses which aspect of the 6 questions of sages.
Or what is the share for everybody? The first question.
Yeah, that's coming from Lokahita. The prime subject matter is coming from it answers which question? It answers the question. No, it answers the question that there are many different types of things explained in the different scriptures. Purini, Purikarmani, Shrotavyadini. So that answers it. What is the Atasado Atrayat Saram Samudritya Manishya? Okay. So what is the essence of all the different shastras? It answers that question. This is the prime subject matter. Okay. Lokahitam answers the question that what is ultimately beneficial for all. Okay. So what else is there? Yeah, the question is glorious. Of course, the question is glorious. Yes, it's approved by
all
transcendentalists, which means what? Yeah, which means that it is applicable to everyone. It's not that the answers of this question are applicable to only one class of people. It is applicable to all classes of people. So what else is there?
So talking about, in a way, I don't know, indirectly, but it says, my dear king, your question is glorious. So if a person's question is glorious, that means it's also glorifying Parikshit Maharaj.
Yeah, it's directly glorifying Parikshit Maharaj. It's not indirect. It's directly glorifying Parikshit Maharaj. And it is also confirming, I'll come back to it. It also confirms Parikshit Maharaj's original intention to hear Krishna Katha. Okay. So he originally intended to hear Krishna Katha. And then there was some difference of opinion. So he is asking what is best to hear. Because Sukadeva Goswami knows his intention to hear Krishna Katha, and he says, yes, your intention is glorious. And your questions are glorious. Yes. 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 Yeah. Yeah.
subject, this prime subject.
Yes. So Krishna Katha is the prime subject matter for hearing. That's confirmed here. Okay. And also it answers the criticism of the Saunakadi rishis. The first thing which with the spiritual master as Vaishnava spiritual master, Sukadeva Goswami did is to protect his disciples. He answered the criticism of the Saunakadi rishis, or the criticism which could be raised by people like Saunakadi. They said that, somewhere in the fourth canto I explained, they said that he was so irresponsible that he just left everything and went. Then Sukadeva Goswami is saying that no, he is not responsible. What he is going to do after leaving everything is actually Lokahitam. So the understanding that he did not have Lokahitam in his mind is completely wrong. He is going to ask questions by which the entire humanity will be permanently benefited.
Was that the intention of Parikshit Maharaj when he renounced? Because when he renounced, he said that he thought that, like you said, was that because he had done something wrong and calamity had struck upon him. So, and the position that he had as a king, did he also think of his praja, like, or was that an outcome of his process?
See, normally what happens is that when a Vaishnava, that's why it is explained in that it's very difficult to understand the mood and activities of the Vaishnava. Okay. So when a Vaishnava does something, externally it looks like something, internally it has some other meaning. And if you go deep into it, there's some other different meaning. Okay. So you can see that, but in Bhagavatam, one thing which you can see, why it is called as Lokahitam, is because in Bhagavatam you can see exalted devotees. Okay. And all of them ask questions which actually benefit the humanity. Like you can see in third canto, Srimad Bhagavatam, the beginning, just actually Krishna had left and he had given some confidential instruction to Uddhava. Okay. And Vidura comes there. And Vidura and Uddhava, they actually speak a lot of Krishna Katha in the beginning. Okay. It's like 10 cantos. And then Vidura is so keen to learn, to understand what Krishna told Uddhava. Okay. And Uddhava says, no, I cannot instruct you because I am too young, you are too elderly, so you go to Maitreya. And then you ask him. So when actually Vidura goes to Maitreya, and Vidura starts asking Maitreya, he doesn't ask all the 10th canto business. What he is asking Maitreya? He is asking basic questions on creation. And who is Vidura? He is a Mahajan by himself. But when he goes to ask questions, he doesn't ask questions which satisfies him alone. Okay. He asks questions which actually benefits everyone. And for a seasoned devotee or for a pure devotee, every Leela of Krishna is sweet. Okay. It's not that only 10 canto is sweet for him. It is explained by Vishwanath Chakra Thakur that this entire material world is actually a Ras Leela of Vishnu with Maya. So we have two Ras Leela. One Ras Leela of Vishnu with Maya and one Ras Leela of Krishna with gopis. But a devotee, even being within the material world, he can simply experience that Ras Leela and this Ras Leela. So for him, it doesn't matter whether he is hearing this pastime or that pastime. For him, everything is pastime of the Lord and everything is glorious. And especially when something can benefit everyone, then it is more glorious. Then they are more interested in listening to that. And we can see that mood, especially in Prabhupada's Leela, that when Prabhupada spoke, Prabhupada gave so many lectures. And You can see in every lecture, Prabhupada is hammering philosophy. He is just trying to make us understand that we are not this body. Very rarely Prabhupada spoke about the intimate pastimes of Radha. Even in Vrindavan, sitting in Vrindavan, Prabhupada gave lecture on what? In which canto? In which canto of Srimad Bhagavatam sitting in Vrindavan, Prabhupada gave lecture? Fifth canto. I am Deho, Dehabada, Braloke, Kashtan, Kaman, Arhate, Vipujam. He was talking about Rishabhadev's teachings. And it starts with this heavy thing that you're not this body. Sitting in Vrindavan, Prabhupada is talking about fifth canto. He gave a whole series of lectures on fifth canto. So this is the mood of devotees that they do many things, but in that so many things are also combined. So, but you know, also like that.
He wasn't like going against his Kshatriya Dharma. He was not going against his Kshatriya Dharma that Parikshit had as a king. Like in the national system of the Dharma, that's holds a lot of importance. And I'm trying to understand. I know that, so like Arjun's Kshatriya Dharma, Krishna said, fight, because that's your Dharma. You cannot meet this responsibility. And here on the other hand, Parikshit Maharaj is actually leaving. Of course, both the outcomes were already planned by the Lord, but then we can't like draw a parallel lesson to them. Because one is leaving the Kshatriya Dharma from his ashram, and he's wife and children and everything, and he's of course benefiting everybody. At the same time, Arjun is fighting and he's also benefiting everybody. So, what's the take-home lesson there?
So, what was Krishna's instruction to Arjuna?
Fight for me.
No.
I mean, whatever you do, you do it as an offering.
He said Sarvadharman Paritejya, Mamekam Sarvam. Okay. So Sarvadharman Paritejya means what?
Give up all kinds of religiousness and surrender us.
You just give up your varnashrama duties and surrender to Krishna. This is what it means. When Krishna said Sarvadharman Paritejya, what is the dharma he is talking about? Because dharma has two connotations. Okay. One connotation of dharma is varnashrama dharma. The other connotation of dharma is pure devotional service. Okay. So there are only two dharmas. There is no other dharma. Okay. Either it is varnashrama dharma or pure devotional service. So when Krishna is saying Sarvadharman Paritejya, he is not meaning give up pure devotional service, because he is saying next line Mamekam Sarvam. Okay. So the whole idea which Krishna is expressing in that shloka is to give up your varnashrama position and surrender to me and say and do what you say. You understand, no? So when Krishna was telling Arjuna to fight, okay, he was not asking him to fight as a Kshatriya. Okay. That was somewhere in second chapter. But after the second chapter, then Krishna gave a formula to fight. What is that? Tasmat sarveshu kaleshu mam anusmara yudhyacha mayyarpita manobuddhir mam evaishyasya asamshaya. So the fighting is no longer on the platform of I am Kshatriya, I want to win this war and I have to become a great person. The fighting is on the platform of Krishna wants me to fight, I will fight. Okay. This is exemplified in the first canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. In the first canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, when actually Arjuna is coming back from Dwarka, he is defeated by a bunch of dacoits. Okay. And then he cannot take it. Right? Because he is Arjuna and he has Gandiva. Okay. And he actually defeated a huge ocean of army with great Maharathis and that and this and divine personalities. And he just gets defeated by a bunch of dacoits. And that's where actually Arjuna understood those things. And Arjuna says in first canto that now I recollect the instructions of my friend in my battlefield, and then I am pacified with his instructions. So this is another thing, that when everything is all right, like when we are in our particular situation, and when our devotional service is aligned with our particular situation, like in case of Arjuna, his devotional service was aligned with his situation as Kshatriya. Okay? Then surrender is very easy. And then he says, that's what a big deal. Okay? I am fighting, I am winning, let me surrender. Okay? That looks so sweet because I am fighting and I am winning. Okay? But when you're fighting and you're defeated, and that's the point you understand. And that's where you understand what it means, Sarvadharma. And the second aspect of that is that if you give up your varnashrama duty, you have to incur sin. Okay. So that's why Krishna says that even if you incur sin, that sin I will take care. Not that you will do some sinful activity and that sin Krishna will take care. We should understand, we should be very careful what Krishna is saying. Because Krishna said somewhere in the middle of Bhagavad Gita that how to become fixed in devotional service. Tesham dvantagatam papam jananam punya karmanam te dvantamoha nirmukta bhajante mam dridhavrataha. First condition to become dridhavrata is that finish sinful activity. Tesham dvantagatam papam. Okay. The second condition to become dridhavrata is that jananam punya karma. Engage in devotional service. Third condition to become dridhavrata is that te dvantamoha nirmukta. Become free of duality and illusion. Then you can become dridhavrata. So the entry level condition to devotional service is that you stop sinful activity. So there is no question of Krishna saying that okay, I will remove all sins if you do sinful activity in devotional service. He is simply talking about a particular sin which comes because you give up your varnashrama situation. And that's a heavy sin. That's very heavy. If you give up your varnashrama situation and do something, you have to, the atonement is horrible. It's very heavy thing. So that sin Krishna says, I will take it. So the point is that surrender means to give up upadhi. That's why in Nectar of Devotion, Narada explains, Sarvopadi Virirmuktam, Tat Paratrena Nirmalam, Rishikesha Sevana Bhakti. The surrender means you give up your upadhi, which means that you give up the idea that I am Kshatriya, or I am Vaishya, I am Shudra, or I am whatever, and then surrender. And when you give up that idea, there is sin. So if you don't surrender to Krishna and simply give up that idea, you simply become sinful. That's what is happening in Kali. That you give up your varnashrama position, but you don't surrender to Krishna. So you will become sinful. Okay? So this is what actually this shloka, where Sukadeva Goswami is bringing various aspects. And then he's protecting his disciple. And then he's saying that yes, you have done the right thing, you don't worry about it. Your questions are glorious. Okay? And then he would, what time is stopping? 12:30. So, and then he would go on to explain the mechanics of material life. Okay, so we'll chant together. Shrotavyadi Rajendra Nirnanasti Sahasrata Apasyatam Akalpam Griheshu Grahamedinam.
Those persons who are materially engrossed, being blind to the knowledge of the ultimate truth, have many subject matters for hearing in human society.
Nidraya Riyate Nantam Vyayayena Chavavayah Divya Chate Haya Rajan Kutumba Bharate Nava.
Lifetime of such an MBS householder is past, night either in sleeping or in sex indulgence, and in the daytime either in making money or maintaining family members.
देहावत्यकलत्रादिषु आत्मसैन्ये सवसत्सवपि तेषां प्रमत्तो निधनं पश्यामि न पश्यति.
Person devoid of Atma Tattva do not inquire into the problem of life, being too attached to the fallible soldiers like the body, children, and wife. Although sufficiently experienced, they still do not see the inevitable destruction.
Okay, so this is how material life is there. So we all have experience of this. So we don't need any explanation on this. So what we are going to do is to get into some group work for the next half an hour. Okay. So before that, I will divide groups. Messages, we will have one group. So Prabhu, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay. So Prabhu, you say 1, 2, 3. Okay. Then keep saying 1, 2, 3. Okay.
1, 2.
1, 2, 3. 1, 2. Okay, all ones one group, all twos one group, all threes one group.
Okay. 1. Okay.
Okay. All of you have same exercise. Okay. Probably can read.
After reading Srimad Bhagavatam, second canto, chapter, second sloka, fourth sloka, Krishna Das, who initially agreed for marriage, is now confused. By entering family life, he will lose taste for Krishna Katha. His parents are worried, and as senior devotee and Bhakti Vaibhav graduate, they have approached you to counsel him. Please guide him how he can live family life in such a way to increase the taste of Krishna Katha.
We cannot do it. We are not really graduated.
You think yourself to be.
Okay. So you can take little more time. I don't know if you all let the purpose. So if you're not let the purpose, you can take little more time to prepare. Not a problem. So let's say you take about 10 minutes to prepare. Or fine. 10 minutes to prepare. It should be presented in the form of a role play. Okay, somebody should play the part of Krishna Das and somebody should play the part of the counselor.
But I think 2 to 4. So by 2
You can also take a break if you want.
One of the questions.
Actually, what we grow up, she was like, become the concept he will For 3 minutes more.
So if it's a girl or a guy, unless I get married.
What we touched, two of us will be Bhakti Vaibhav. One will come. No. We'll start.
Okay, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Okay. So who is going first? Yes. Okay. Mataji first. No more discussion. Please stop your discussion. Please concentrate on the presentation.
Krishnadas is puja. Krishnadas is puja. Oh, all three have to. I thought only Krishnadas.
Change that to Krishna Dasi. That would have, applicable.
It's all.
Daso Dasi, whatever you think.
Not total surrender.
Some are also thinking of not getting married. It's a relevant topic. It could be a nice place to hold.
Hare Krishna.
Mataji, my parents have been, making alliances for me and so forth. I've been born and brought up in this temple. You can see me play around and grow up in this temple itself. And then now they forced me to marry. Initially, it was all for the idea, but his we arranged this Bhakti Vaibhav class. So I'm just preparing my bed, second canto, first chapter. And then the first five slokas, oh my god, I'm thinking now, why am I getting into such a, it's a pit. I feel like it's a trap. I can support myself. My parents love me. I have the association with wonderful people like you. I mean, I will always be protected for. I'm working. Everything is fine. I mean, why do I have the extra person come in and then order me and then change my life completely? And I don't know. And then what if I get to a catch and I don't like Krishna anymore? Can you imagine that? And he lures me from this. Okay, I have heard of instances where they come with the pretext of being a devotee and they actually lure you away from Krishna after marriage. I can't even imagine. What do you think? I don't know who else to speak.
Okay, you've got some good points. Prabhuji, how much time do we have?
Take as much time you.
We have about 5 minutes for each presentation.
So,
Unless you want, you're all okay to go over time.
so that's got some really good points there, and I understand your predicament. I was just going through Bhagavatam Canto 2, Chapter 1, and I saw a couple of things which made some interesting points. And instead of just explaining this straight from our realization, I think you can also refer to this. Sure. See, there's a difference between saying that after reading the Bhagavatam, you felt that you might just be lured away from Krishna. Yes. Well, I mean, if that's basically the thing, in one sense, you really not understood the Bhagavatam correctly, because it does not discourage you from being married at all. It's a part of it's an ashram. You initially agreed to being married, so it's not that you have any brahmachari instincts. I believe you do want to have a life partner. And the Bhagavatam, Canto 2, Chapter 1,
Whatever Bhagavatam saying that the husband or the kids will get distraction.
right. See, there are two types of, maybe you can explain that since we're discussing it this morning. The Brahmari and the Rasa. So Brahmari is basically he just thinks about his family, attached to him, and then he just earns money for that. So that is not what we're doing in Vishnu, right? We're always engaging ourselves in devotional service. So when you get married, you call it Vinasta, and there you are engaging everyone in Vishnu consciousness. So your responsibility or your devotional service actually multiplies. Because you're involving all your family into Krishna consciousness, and there you have an association, and you're always thinking of the Lord there. Not that you actually forget it. No, it's just not possible. Maybe you remember it more because you always keep telling your children, your wife, or your husband. So it's more Krishna consciousness. Yeah, that's right. And then also it's like you don't overindulge in the sense gratification. Like, if you are, for life, then, overindulge in sex, so you don't basically get attached to your family in terms of, for your self gratification. Of course, there is an attachment, but if Krishna is the center of your family, and both of them are serving the Lord, then you don't look at each other as each other's property. So, like, maybe is like basically an envious person in society. He's always competing and he's looking around like he has more wealth, how much do I have? And so with that approach, of course you will somehow in your married life, but that's not the approach that's recommended in the Bhagavatam. So what we're talking about is like Rama said,
Always be with your family. Thinking of the Lord, also serving your wife or a husband as as an instrument to serve the Lord. So you're serving them also as equally as a devotion, as a devotee, as a devotee. So you see them also as a devotee, not that they are a distraction to you. So then you're serving somebody else as a devotee, and you're serving yourself as well as a devotee.
So it's like a knowledge that you have, that Atma Tattva knowledge that you gather while reading Bhagavatam is what you can actually apply in your married life. So I don't see a reason why you should be discouraged from getting married, because you lose taste. In fact, it will enhance your taste for Krishna consciousness. The test of a perfect married life is that your taste for Krishna consciousness is getting enhanced. That's how you can test your married life inside. When you see that your taste is going down, you can, which happens sometimes in a married life, you can put some checkpoints and you say there are some issues. Maybe the husband and wife can sit and discuss. Have a session in a week. You just want to assess the points that you are having trouble getting your spiritual life, and sit with your husband and discuss. Very important. I mean, married life doesn't mean that you need two individual lives and you're just going to Krishna. It's, you have to strike the right balance and move ahead together. It might be at a slower pace than a brahmachari would advance, so called, but you can advance, and there's no looking back. So that's the basic test. You can, it's very nice to sit and discuss with your spouse your weaknesses, your strengths, and how you can apply them in your married life. So you will not repent on this at all. In fact, you find a friend, you find somebody you can share with. And I think basically, in general, that's the human instinct. You look for somebody that you want to share with. Unless you have a very different instinct that, is taking you away from marriage. But I don't see that in you at all. And if that's the case, then we need to maybe talk to Guru Maharaj or the third person as well. I don't see that. And, since you feed into marriage, it's very much recommended in the Bhagavad.
Very well.
Very well.
Any questions for them?
No.
Please invite questions. No, please, this is a part of the exercise that you should invite questions or feedback.
Okay. चलिए ब्रो, अब चलिए.
Please invite questions or feedback.
My question.
No. I will ask you. Go.
No, not from us.
No. Real Krishna Dasa is coming now. No. Go Krishna Dasa.
Okay, next group, please. We don't have time. We should be quick.
Go Krishna Dasa. Ayo.
I'm okay, I feel. So I have a little confusion. Because all these times I listen to classes, Bhagavatam, and all very nicely. Since my marriage is fixed, even reading in Bhagavatam or Bhagavad Gita or listening lectures, all negative signs I feel.
Please listen to the presentation.
I feel that once I marry, I may not be able to come to the classes, listen and concentrate. Because I see in the temple also, sometimes devotees coming and halfway, they are going with the children. Sometimes they don't come to the class, very important class. When I ask Prabhuji why you didn't come, say I had work at home, office, apart from work at office, I have work at taking care of children, and so I think my devotional life will be distracted by getting married, and I feel that more. Now I don't feel like concentrating on getting the fear of what could happen into my continuity of studies in Bhagavatam. I feel a little distracted. I need your advice. Should I marry or should I not? Should I stop this marriage?
Actually, when we were marrying, we had same confusion actually. But actually we consulted the Bhakti Vaibhav devotees, the senior devotees.
You have done Bhakti Vaibhav, so we
Yeah,
can
that's
advise
why
you.
we would like to clarify the point. Is that actually Grahastha means we are just not crossing the brahmachari line, but everything is Grahastha. That means it has given you an opportunity of few more devotees to join you and serve Krishna. And it is as per
One more thing, Prabhu. I checked this girl's profile at Facebook. There's no sign of devotional service.
great opportunity.
She's not a
To make her
devotee.
a devotee. Great opportunity.
So this will be more negative. to me.
No. Actually, it's as per the spiritual injections, whatever step you are going to take as a Grahastha. And also, you can make them chant Hare Krishna. And you will get a chance to say Hare Krishna to them at home. And there are Brahmanis who are very interested in themselves and they are very envious of other people. But you, after marriage, you can be very friendly with them, give them Krishna Katha. So that way it is encouraging actually. And also it is very boon of human life that Krishna consciousness is given to us and we should spread it. So by marrying, you will spread it actually. You give your family, not only to your wife and children, but to their family and all. So it's a boon for you, boon for us to spread it.
You said you are a devotee. That means you already have attached to Krishna. So when you have taken about Krishna, you already know about your vision and the vision of Krishna. So by simply marrying, you are not going to get bewildered. Leave assured. Because you can get bewildered only when you do not know yourself, your true position, relationship with Krishna, and the Krishna. You are already aware of it. So this you have to take it that way, that this arrangement of Krishna to you, so that you have to practice detachment while being married. This is the real test. We can be away from something physically and then it is easy. But you have to practice to be in the married life, and then you have to practice real detachment. That will be your behavior will be a teaching to them. You will teach by your behavior. So they will in fact be inspired by you to follow this. You have to do all your duties properly to take care of them. But at the same time, since you are already attached to Krishna, you will do your job perfectly. At the same time, you will be able to guide them and they will be inspiration for you. It's no need because all our great Mahajanas, nothing was Grahastha only. In fact, it's not recommended that we just remain for that sake. We can give more instructions. You will not be that way definitely because you know the path, you know your position and you know Krishna. So there's no chance for pretending.
But the question is not answered. He said that.
The question about the children being distracted with the Prabhu's speeches and they don't attend.
We have to take that as a matter of service. See, if you are taking care of children, because they are devotees, they are going to be devotees, that's service to Krishna. See, devotion doesn't mean that only to come to the class. See, devotion doesn't mean only to come to the class. Devotional service means to make other people Krishna conscious. So if you are helping your children or wife to take care of them and then helping them to Krishna, it is great service. So you are not going away from Krishna. The form of service may change, the form of service may change, but the service remains. So that's what we have to be interested.
It's very important.
Yes, it is very important. Definitely it is important.
You also have that point about detachment.
Yes.
At this point, it may not apply to him because he's already feeling detached.
Yes.
So it's more about how to bring him.
He is fearful of attachment. What you say that once he get married, he may get attached and then he may lose taste.
But that attachment is healthy, actually. I feel in the married life, attachment is healthy.
That's what we have to explain. See, he's having this fear. Why he doesn't want to marry?
Because he's feeling that he's going to be taken away from him.
Yes, that means he is feeling that he will be detached from Krishna because of attachment towards the wife.
But he will be, I feel he will be attached to Krishna because of attachment to wife. So it's not always that just to detach from the wife to be attached.
No. It's not because of detachment. Because there is Krishna, it will not lead to detachment. The attachment to wife will be healthy.
Hari, one more question.
The discussion was very nice, but it would have been more good concentrate more on the specific purpose.
Okay.
This is a debate that only. I taken this text 4. The last few lines, that is bewilderment. So I tried to explain that we did not get bewildered by text 4. Last few lines.
Thank you.
सनातन गोकुल गुरु कृष्णदास सीट पे आ जाइए. मैं रिकॉर्डिंग सेशन. Without consideration.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. My son.
Oh, you
Sanatan.
Actually,
What happened? He started studying Bhagavatam, Canto 2. And he has studied Canto 1. Straight away he took Canto 2 and then he started reading without any guidance. So that first five purports, he read and then he got bewildered. And we are planning to get him married. Now he is telling, because Prabhupada is telling this purport that marriage life, it's a problem, you will get away from Krishna consciousness. So he is having some confusion. So since you are having Bhakti Sastri and Bhakti Vaibhav class, so it will be more helpful if you can just clarify this what Prabhupada really says.
And actually, I did not get the first question. I was just reading translation because I was going into this one. So there, Sridhar Goswami is saying to Krishna that if you get married, you will be attached to children and you will be all those things. This was confusing me that if I get married, so it will be more deviation of Krishna consciousness and more. I'll be enjoying more sleep and sex and I'll be earning money for all the family and those things. So it's more deviation from Krishna consciousness.
Yes, Mr. Prabhu, I think you have got a point. If you start earning for your wife or then definitely you get attached. But the same purpose, Prabhupada explained about two benefits of family lives. One is the Viveka and the other is the Krishna. As you said, if you are attached to the wife, running for the wife, running for the kid, and your concentration is on family, then it becomes like maybe. Okay. But the same family life, suppose you think in the other way, you are getting two more associates, two more devotees, and a wife and a children. Then you know, how long you will be there? I mean, why you are going for ISKCON temple? For association, right? In ISKCON temple, how long will you be there for? 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours. But now, if you make your wife and children as a devotee, and then you are continuous association. So making those two individual souls as a devotee, you are having continuous association. And at the same time, the same purport, so Prabhupada in the 4th chapter, Prabhupada says that you can save the souls. Say for example, I'm just saying, if the same souls, if they don't get married to you, it's lucky that they are happy with you, but if they don't marry you, and the same two souls, they might perpetually in the same cycle there. Because you can, what is your intention of becoming a devotee? What do you want to do after devotee? Yes, you don't want to chant yourself, right? You want to preach. So this is an opportunity for you to make preach and make devotees. And they become. Otherwise, you have only one person who will preach.
preaching. Now you will have a team to preach. You see? So your wife will be preaching, your son will be preaching. So I mean, you know how life is totally in the Krishna consciousness, right? How do you feel now?
That's what I also told him. In the third sloka, Prabhupada writes that Prabhupada condemns only those people who are living without any spiritual profit. If you are living with the spiritual profit, Prabhupada advises them. See?
This is what I learned it from all our Bhakti Vaibhav preachers when they are coming to my school. They literally go, really wondered.
Why can't you take him also to the class?
No, he is already coming up. Do you have any doubts?
Your brain machine.
Any comments?
Really encouraged marriage, but really Prabhupada encouraged getting married for boys. We had many brahmacharis was that? No,
It's
totally
not,
encouraging.
it's not Prabhupada directly encouraged. The Varnashrama Dharma, of course, the question did not come. Varnashrama Dharma has been created by Krishna. In no way say Grihastha is not there in Varnashrama Dharma. So it's the part of it. Krishna consciousness is there in Brahmacharya. Krishna consciousness is there in Grihastha. Krishna consciousness is there in Vanapastha. But how you make your society more preaching? I mean, the Krishna consciousness basically is preaching movement. So Prabhupada's intention is you preach. So you have two more hands instead of your single hand.
Also, Prabhupada said that Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati wanted to have an army of sannyasis. Prabhupada said, I will create an army of grihasthas.
Very good.
When we say Army of Grihastha, the field is wide open. That's why the field is restricted. Big army. Very good.
Yeah, as you know, I am coming temple regularly. Now marriage is going to be fixed. But I am very much afraid because after reading this Bhagavatam, the second canto, I have seen that after marriage there may be so many issues may be there, so many problems may be there, and we have seen so many examples also in the temple. After marriage, examples in the temple.
You are coming to the temple, you know about all this things. That nothing that you know, not because the means that you have to keep your family also. You have an additional responsibility. What Krishna consciousness means like is to reach others. Now, if you engaging a wife and if you get the children and making Krishna consciousness, your life is successful. Because ultimately, your objective is to make more and more devotees. So Krishna has given a chance now for you to marry and make your family Krishna consciousness. That's what is the goal of life. Mostly seekers. Now, like you know that like if you come to Krishna consciousness too, how can you make you maybe like you have a program to bring your wife and maybe if you get children to bring them also in Krishna consciousness. But this one is having a lot of thoughts. Don't worry about that. Bring them to the temple, where things are taken care. I'll give my own example. What I did when I brought my wife to the temple, I just linked her with other mothers. Yes, my job is over. And now we have mother God also. Just join your children to the hospital, they will take care. You may not have to worry at all. Okay? So don't worry about your future. And now, like we are already going through this Srimad Bhagavatam in the temple. Chapter 3, how Kandava Muni led the example by marrying. So we know by literally it's all authorized. So just go for it. Krishna will take care. It's called devotee in particular. They will take care. Any comments?
Time is up. That's why there are no comments. Who was the example? Question to you.
nice performance from everyone. So let's have some encouraging words from Prabhupada to begin the class today. Okay.
So the topics of Lord Krishna are so auspicious that they purify the speaker, the hearer, and the inquirer. They are compared to the Ganges waters which flow from the throat of Lord Krishna. Wherever the Ganges waters go, they purify the land and the person who plays it. Similarly, Krishna Katha, or the topics of Krishna, are so pure that wherever they are spoken, the place, the hearer, the inquirer, the speaker, and all concerned become purified.
Prabhupada ki jai. Go Premanande.
Hare Krishna.
Sunday,
We have class again.
which is this?
At Krishna place. Around 8 o'clock.
Around here.
Yes.
In the evening.
In the evening. It's a working day. All working days